Hello, beautiful people. This is Gail Scott here, and thank you for joining me here on part 2 of the channeling that the multiverse have brought through on our money structure system on planet Earth. So this is the second half of a channeling that came through regarding the dismantling of our money system on planet Earth. And so if you haven't watched part 1, I would suggest that you go back and watch that first. It gives you a brief overview of what is coming down the pipeline. And this one gives you a little bit more information. So here we go. They asked in the second half of this. So you wonder to yourself, what can you do to alleviate any discomfort that will arise as a result of any change to your financial structure? So what they're saying is that they are introducing a brand new system into our financial system on planet Earth. They say what you do not understand is that the structure, although it will crumble and fall away, as they mentioned in the first video, it will be rebuilt in a completely different way. There are people, individuals on your planet who are currently working through different scenarios in order to bring you a new system to use for our barter of goods and services. And that this system will allow us to be able to barter with others, not just locally, but globally in a very new and different way from what we've had in the past. That this new method is going to have a more equal and fair distribution, and that there will be facets, parts, and services that we as a global system can now coexist with, where in the past it appeared that we were all very individualistic, with different idiosyncrasies to the financial system that we were working with. And they're now telling us that this is going to be removed, that we are, in a sense, one family, one unit living on this planet, and that, yes, of course, we will consult with each other, but eventually we'll end up contracting with each other in new and different ways in order to exchange our goods and services. And so they're very clear that this is a happening thing, and that there are individuals on the planet right now who are currently working to make sure that this happens. They're looking at different scenarios and different systems that they could bring in that would assist us as a global family, as a global unit, as a global unity marketplace, for us to be able to exchange our goods and services in a much more fair and equitable way compared to the differences that we've had in the past in our current monetary system. So they go on around exploration and experimentation. They're saying, we're not going to tell you what it's going to look like, because that, in a sense, would take away the excitement and the passion and the exploration and experimentation that we as humans need to create something that will work for us, that works in our best favor in its own way. And so they're really recognizing here that we are innovators. We are creatives, and that is one of the reasons why we're here. I say that very, very commonly, that we are here to co-create. We are here to play the game of life. And that if they were to tell us everything that was possible, that was going to happen, we would not have that excitement. We wouldn't feel like we were exploring and experimenting and making it up as we go along. So they go on to say, we understand and recognize that your financial system has in fact controlled your way of being for a very long time. They're saying this is not good or bad, it just simply was and is. But that we need to now pay attention to what's coming down and what's appearing now in terms of new currencies and new ways of co-creating. And they say bartering is not quite the right word, but they look at it more as a sharing of assets with one another. A lot less of the mindset of this is mine and this is yours, and more about this is ours And how can we share together so that everyone has what they need? And if you look at the current way that we live right now, everybody does not have what they need, and we do not have a fair system, and we do exchange goods and services, and we don't necessarily share the assets that we have with one another in order to exist in a harmony kind of environment here on planet Earth. So they say, in a love-filled environment, which is our future, our 5D energy, it is less dog eat dog, as you would describe it. There is more equity. And it is not to say that those who will, in a sense, work harder than others and have more, but that the discrepancy about what has happened before this and now will be infinitely less. And we shall begin to notice that each person brings a certain amount to the table in their own special way. So it sounds to me here that it's going to be less competitive and less antagonistic, I'm going to say, with the way that they're talking about, dog eat dog. And they're saying there's going to be more equity and more sharing. And that, yes, many of us are going to work hard in order to make sure that that happens, and that some of us may have more than others, but it'll be a lot less than it ever has been. And so they go on. We shall begin to notice that each person brings a certain amount to the table in their own special way, and the value of what they bring is no longer defined by the monetary currency, but by what you as a human being know in your heart is needed for humanity. So this is very large. This is a huge statement. Basically, things are not going to be valued by a financial money value, but they're going to be valued by our hearts, by what we as human beings know to be is important for us to be able to co-create and live in harmony on the planet. And so they go on. Some of the things that you may have seen as less important in the past will actually become more important, and they will have more stature. Because with the decline of your current monetary system, your awareness of what is and what is needed is going to change, and it will become more simple, more straightforward, and even more secure. So what they're saying here is that the way that we've operated in the past using a monetary system is going to change significantly, because we are going to have a different level of awareness of what's needed and what's needed to change so that we can live with a more straightforward, secure way of exchanging goods and services with each other, and also valuing what each person contributes to this unity global marketplace. So they're telling me here, you can expect changes. We are an exclusive species going through a major transition as we're moving through this, and there are going to be hiccups and changes along the way, and not just in our financial system. And this is something that I've mentioned before. There are more structures within humanity's existence here on planet Earth that are changing. So, for example, your family structure is already changing, they say, and has been changing since the last century. And this is going to continue. And the importance of each individual person in any unit will become more important. Not necessarily each contribution, not necessarily about what someone can make or how much they contribute any longer. So it's generally, being within our financial system. How much money do you make? What do you contribute? Well, that's changing. That's going to be changing. And it's actually going to be about the necessity of each contribution that will become more important. What is needed in order for us to live in harmony? And that's going to be different based on this new heart-centered energy that we are moving into. So what they're saying is the idea that everyone brings something unique that will allow everything to work more smoothly together. and that this working smoothly together is what's going to sustain us in the future. And that new currency, that new way of bartering with each other will emerge that will bring about a level of equity and fairness across the planet. So think about that for a sense. It's actually going to be what you bring to the table that is unique, that allows us to create harmony, that is going to be the value, this new currency, to be able to exchange goods and services with each other, and that it will be fairer. They also say it will not be difficult. It will be a smooth transition, and it will be a fast one, and we don't have to be concerned about it. So for those of you who are asking questions and needing to know, if you've watched the first video, you'll remember there that they said you don't need to know everything yet. Just keep following your intuition, just keep following the signs, just keep being heart-centered, being in that co-creative place. And so they reiterate that in this part of the message as well. It's about staying in your hearts and focusing on the unity, accepting that changes are coming, recognizing that they are for the greater good, not for the individual benefit, as has been our previous bartering monetary system, and that the greater good shall be the new focus for us moving forward. And that this is a new, different dynamic that we will be operating from that is actually going to serve us as a species better in the long run. And so they're saying if you wish to consider maintaining our current system in some state, and there may be some out there who do wish to continue some kind of financial monetary system, they're suggesting that we do this with great caution, because this has created much of the split situation on our planet, this power exchange. And they see that as no longer being a part of the new world, of the new earth, of the fifth dimension, because there will be no them and us. There will only be the we. And so when there's only the we and we're all together, then we have harmony, and we don't have any power struggles, we don't have any power exchanges. And that if we do have that, we will create more separation, which then creates tension and competition and disunity. And so they're really recommending that as we move forward with this transition, if we want to move forward more easily, that we understand that we will have to break down what was. We do have to open the space for a breakthrough, for a new way of being, and a new way of managing our assets on the planet. And that if we choose to continue in some kind of financial monetary system, that there is a risk. There is a risk with that will not allow us to move forward easily into this harmony, global unity marketplace that they are suggesting is going to be one that will be in the energy of innovative harmony. And so that innovative harmony is actually a very exciting time for us, and that there's going to be a lot more new fabrications shown to us, things that we could not even imagine from before, from our third dimensional level of consciousness, but that they will work, and that we will be learning more and new different systems, practices, processes, technologies, things that we've not yet as a species been introduced to yet, but that will be coming through for us through the likes of me and other channelers, and through innovators and experimenters and inventors who will be given this information intuitively. And so from a spiritual perspective, this is a download that people will be given in order to create this new system and these new systems and practices for us on planet Earth. And that in order for new to be created, the old really has to be not necessarily completely destroyed, but certainly has to be taken apart for us to look at what, if anything, is worth keeping as we move forward into this new dimension. and that these new things will ultimately make our life on planet Earth much easier, and that they promise this to us. These galactic energies that are coming through me have said, this is our promise to you, that the darkness is lifting on your planet. The heaviness, the difficulties, the tension, the separation, the disunity is lifting, and they will bring, as I've already explained, much more light to us. That's going to help us to live at a very different level, this level of harmony. And so what you really have to understand is we are fully supported here. We have multiple galactic collectives of intelligence that are bringing forward these messages each and every time to support us through these changes. And we need to recognize that we're not alone. It is that kind of age-old philosophy of, we're not alone in the galaxy, we're not alone in the universe, we're not. And we know that now because of this communication that we are receiving. And it's not just me, there are many others on our planet who are being downloaded with this information that is so helpful for us at this time as we go through these changes. And that these energies, these collectives, these intelligences they're in our solar system, they're in our galaxy, and they're throughout the universe. And they are really rooting for our success. And they're saying it's a success that's already happened. And so, we need to recognize that we get to experience the change that we know has already happened. It's coming, but in a certain timeline, it's already happened. So we get to play the game and have the fun as we go through these changes. And part of that exercise is to stay in our hearts, to stay in the energy of love, to be in appreciation, to co-create with others, to see less separation, less them and us, to understand that each individual contributes to the whole, and that what we bring is unique, and that we have different values based on how it's going to benefit us as a species living on planet Earth, and not from that dog eat dog competitive tense filled energy that we've had for so long. That is leaving, the darkness is lifting, it's being removed, so that we can move forward into this light, and it will be much, much easier for us. And so they made a big statement here. Heart-centered living is the nature of your future as a species on your planet. And the financial system with which you have used for so many years now does not belong. And so these changes are ultimately what is required in order for you to transition. So heart-centered living, the nature of our future as a species, here they are telling us how to transition through these changes. And they're telling us very clearly that our financial system, the one we've had in place for about 100 years now and longer, it doesn't belong. It's not going to work in this new way of being that we're moving into, this heart-centered place. And it's not just financially, that there are many other aspects to being able to live from a heart-centered place. And because I've connected to so many of these beautiful energies, they have promised me that over the next little while, they're going to bring more instruction to us to assist us. So this message, I think, is absolutely profound. There are many of us out here now who are bringing these kinds of messages to you to give you hope, to give you a sense that all is not lost. It may seem very difficult, but that each and every structure and system and process that we have been working with for thousands and thousands of years in the third dimension has got to be dismantled in order for us to move forward into the fifth dimension. And that coming from the heart and living from your heart energy is going to be the way to make it successful for you. So any of my videos that I have here will explain more about what that is. I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope it's given you some light some idea of what's coming. And I'm sorry I can't tell you everything yet. I'm sorry I can't tell you exactly how it's going to work. But as they've been very clear, they don't want us to know that yet. They want us to enjoy this change. They want us to be a part of this co-creative process. And they're telling us that there are individuals on our planet who are working to ensure that this happens in a fair and equitable, heart-centered way. So if you've enjoyed this video, I encourage you, please do subscribe to my channel. Do hit that you want notification when I bring out new messages. And if you like this, please share it with others so that others can begin to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that there is hope, and that things are going to be better for us. And if living from your heart is something that you would like to know more about, please connect with me through my website. All the links are below in the description. And until I bring my next message to you, thank you so much for listening. And I appreciate each and every one of you that is here. Thank you so much.